Do you want to do the intro for a change?
No, I think you've got it, like, in the bag. You've got the voice that we're going to be hearing most of the time.
Yeah.
So I think it's good that we have you talking first so people can adjust the volume accordingly.
Oh, that's really hurtful what you've just said, but I think it was a compliment, but it hurt my feelings.
No. It's like they're adjusting it to a comfortable level, and you're the one that's helping them get comfortable. Okay. So that's fine, and that's a compliment.
I'm going to play the theme tune, and we're going to get started.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Games VR Reality, the podcast where we talk about VR news and then complain about a whole bunch of stuff that we don't really have a stake in. You can call me Victor, and if you hear a different voice, you can assume that's Dale. I've got a bunch of news. Would you like to hear the news?
I'd love to hear it.
All right. Okay, cool. Here are all the news stories that we're going to be covering. So if you want to hear some stuff, look at the time codes down in the description. Mm-hmm. You can just skip to what you want to hear. Mm-hmm. Applab apps. That's the hard one.
AppLab apps.
Apps from the AppLab.
Yep.
Are now showing up in Quest searches. So I want to talk to you about that.
Yep.
It's now easier to get grabby in VR.
Oh.
But just like in real life, it's going to cost you.
Oh, great.
Like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Immersed VR has removed support for multiple screens without telling any of its users, and it's chaos. In-car VR startup stalls.
In-car VR startup stalls.
I like that headline. I'm proud of that.
Okay.
But don't worry, because giant car manufacturers are getting into the mixed reality game with games.
Oh.
Are you excited for that?
If I'm driving, yes.
Okay. Well, if you'd rather ride your bike, you can do it in 3D thanks to this Kickstarter.
Wow.
Yep. After Meta's DC exclusive Batman Arkham Shadow, Apple Vision Pro gets a Marvel exclusive.
Like a game?
Well, I just think it's more reasons to be like a fanboy. You know, like Meta fanboy, Apple fanboy, DC versus Marvel.
Investing in like the, like IP wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think Apple's more of a Marvel or a DC?
Apparently they're more of a Marvel fan, honestly.
I guess
apparently.
Mark Zuckerberg's definitely more of a Lex Luthor.
I do get that vibe from him. He's got that kind of like, but he looks like he could be bald at some point.
Tim Apple is not Tony Stark.
No, he's certainly not. But was Steve Jobs?
We all agree Elon Musk is a Bond villain.
Yes, correct. Okay. He's in a Marvel movie, though. He's in Iron Man 2.
Oh, that's
which
true.
Is even
before it was weird.
Yeah.
People are like, see, look how cool that is. We got Elon Musk. A WebXR game gets Apple support and more rumors about AVP2 Requiem.
Great. Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I can't wait for that movie.
That follows Tim Apple doubling down on the Apple Vision Pro being a enterprise headset.
Oh, actually. Enterprise?
Yeah, a bunch of companies come out being like, yeah, we use it and we make things. Yeah. Plus, I have some mixed reality news I want to talk about. Mobile Giant is entering the VR world.
Oh,
and
cool.
People will be like, that's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. And SteamVR has an update that has improved its Steam Link.
Awesome. Great.
Oh, and Unity 6 has a preview, and it's got better VR stuff.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing out of all of this is that it's a slow news week.
Well, that's big news.
None of that is big news.
We had 2 really big news weeks in a row.
I guess. I guess we did. We had, a game release and then another game release? Or was it like game release and then announcement? It was like...
We had Meta Horizon OS announced.
Oh, yeah. Great. Excellent. Which is easier to pronounce than App Labs...
AppLab apps. AppLabs abs.
Apps, yeah.
Well, let's start with that.
Okay, let's start.
So, way back when Quest started, they had a shop front that was curated. Mm-hmm. So to get onto that shop front, you had to meet all of these requirements. The bar was quite high, but it meant the games on there had a certain amount of quality. Mm-hmm. And then everything that didn't get onto it, the bar was much lower, and it was called AppLab. Oh, God, it's in my head now.
No.
Okay, so the App Lab was something you had to access via your phone, and it was kind of secret hidden, and it was quite hard to get to. So not a lot of people bought App Lab games because it just wasn't in front of them.
Yep.
Because 90% of Meta users aren't going into menus.
Sure.
With Horizon OS announcement, they said, we're bringing App Lab to the main store, so now the bar to get into the store is lower, plus anything in App Lab can be seen by people, and that'll be rolling out over the next year.
Okay.
And it's already started.
So when you look at this, do you think of Steam Early Access at all?
Look, I'm really worried that it'll turn into that.
Okay.
Because Steam is like flooded with too much.
Totally. There's a lot of early access titles that are kind of like abandonware, and they they were announced 4 years ago and then they turn into nothing. So yeah.
Well, they're just asset flips.
Yeah. So yeah, let's hope that by making this decision, I guess it doesn't turn into that. But if it gives more exposure to indie devs, then I feel like it's that's still worth it.
When Marky Z first announced it, it kind of made it sound like initially it would be the store and then an extra tab that was the app lab. But I just searched for this and it showed up.
And it's just coming into the search returns immediately.
normally.
Interesting.
But so App Lab is now searchable. So if you're looking for stuff, you might find more results are coming up for you now.
Awesome.
Which would be interesting. We'll see if Meta gets flooded with porn after this.
Again?
Again? What do you mean again?
Well, according to the Pornhub statistics, Meta's like one of their major platforms.
No, we're not doing that again. Oh, boy.
It's a larger joke.
Oh,
it's going to go over multiple podcasts.
Hey, I showed you a thing before the show, and it was a cute little pet.
It was.
Do you want to talk about that?
Yes.
Well, I'll talk about it, and then you say yes.
Okay, all right.
Okay, all right. Niantic's Hello Dot demo gives you a cute mixed reality pet on Quest 3. This is Upload VR. I saw this on Reddit, and I downloaded it straight away. And this is the app that I got that turns out was on the App Lab that I didn't realize. So this is just a demo at the moment. It's a cute little amoeba-looking weird little pet that you can...
It's a generic Pokemon.
It's a generic Pokemon, but it's in mixed reality. So you scan the room you're in, and then this little pet can walk around the floor or jump on the table and walk around, and you can feed it, and you can pet it, and you can pick it up. And in Beatty's case, you can yell at it and then grab it and shake it because it's not doing what you're saying.
It simulates owning a pet, pretty much.
Well, okay.
For better or for worse.
It makes me worried. It's free and it's cute and it's mixed reality. I thought it was interesting for what it did. It's all hand tracked as well.
I think as soon as Apple sees this will be the entire headset. I think this alone will push more VR headsets than anything we have seen before.
It would be great for the Vision Pro because the Vision Pro is an AR headset. And so to have a little pet that follows you around everywhere, if you could turn it into some kind of assistant on top of that.
I was just going to say, there's been an obsession with AI assistants in the last 2 years. As soon as this becomes like GPT enabled, it's gonna move units.
Yeah.
I'm going to blow so many units on this thing.
Yeah. The CEO of Shell Games did a speech last week, and he was like, if we could get Pokemon in VR, that will sell units. And this is by the maker of Pokemon Go.
Yeah, totally.
This is a huge company, and they're dipping their toe into VR.
Pokemon Go is probably the most successful augmented reality game ever released. Yeah. Correct? And it got nerd people outside into parks.
Yeah. Well, it got nerd people and CEOs meeting up somewhere to get a Pokemon.
Totally.
This is a super shallow demo. There wasn't much to do with it, but if they keep adding to this, I'm going to use this little toy animal. If Quest finds a way of doing multitasking in a more expansive way, so I can be web browsing, but also have my virtual pet.
Yep, totally.
Just moving around the space.
How about this, right? One of the easiest and most popular genres of VR game is the horror game, right? My barrier to horror is that I'm scared, right? I'm alone. I'm in my room playing a horror game. It's awful. If only I had a squishy VR pet to keep me safe.
Flew around.
Exactly. So if it's multitask, it means that the pet is not going to interact with the game.
Do you know what? You've just created a new genre, okay? Mixed VR.
Mixed VR. Oh my God.
Because you're taking your mixed reality pet that walks around your room and you're taking it into a virtual game.
Yes.
And so it knows where the ground is because it's, there. And it can just be with you.
How many times have you tried to put a drink or like an object onto a table that was in VR but wasn't in the real reality?
I don't think I've done that much.
I've gone to put the drink on the table and then didn't. But like adding mixed virtual realities on top of each other, I feel like is going to really confuse me eventually. Like I'm not going to know which one I'm on, which plane of reality. So, but yeah, that sounds great.
Well, I just saw a Veeple.
Did you just create a new store for the Quest?
I can't find it. I won't look for it. I just saw a video on Reddit this morning or last night, and it was someone playing Thrill of the Fight, and in between rounds, he was sitting on his stool, but he got really into the round, and he went to sit on the virtual stool, and that's where his computer was. So he nearly took out his computer.
Oh, my goodness.
So, yeah, it could happen.
Yeah.
All right, I got some sad news about developers being big meanies.
Okay.
Okay, so Immersed VR is a app that lets you link up to your desktop.
Okay.
So you link up to your desktop and it's, office work and blah, 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 blah. All of that fun stuff. It was one of the only apps that had support for multiple desktops, multiple screens.
Yep.
They've removed that feature in their latest update without telling any of its users.
Why?
Well, they said it was a feature that 90% of people didn't use, and we could put our resources into that, or we could put our resources into making the app better. So we went with the better.
Okay.
Okay, so people got upset. So people went to Discord to be like, yo, you got rid of this without telling us what's going on. The developers and the moderators of Discord just started banning people and muting them whenever they would talk about this issue.
Great.
So really bad public relation.
Yeah, totally. That's
Yeah. So I saw this a few days ago. OK Hole 9542 said Immersed VR removed multi-monitor support, censoring anyone who posts negatively on their subreddit. This is a PSA. They got rid of support. Also, anyone who posts negatively asking questions, etc. on r/immerse, so that's the Reddit, is having their post removed or being outright banned. And then they linked to a removed post. And then the top comment here is like, checked and confirmed. It's wild. What is going on? Why would you kneecap yourselves in that way? And, obviously conversations go on from there.
I want to know how many people own this application. Like, is this a big scandal in the meta world?
It's a fairly popular app as far as virtual desktop apps go.
Yep.
This one was really good on Quest, and it's pretty popular.
Yeah, it just sounds like a very vocal 10%. If this is the 10% of people that were supposedly using this, that they were willing to cut out, this is a pretty big,
Yeah, it's pretty wild, and I feel like they don't delete comments.
No, it sounds like not like a cover up or anything like that, but what were they bought recently? What's motivating all the changes? Why is it so important to remove all these posts and silence all these people? It's I would never have known that this app existed without this PR move. So what's the point?
Well, I've been using virtual desktops more and more, so I actually looked at this app, and now I'm probably not going to get it.
Okay.
It has swayed me in the negative just slightly.
Yeah, wow.
Enough for me not to try it.
Is there any weird spelling shit with that?
No, surprisingly, they put VR at the end.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask if they put VR in the title somehow.
It's not Immersed.
Yeah.
No,
there's no upside down letters and stuff to make it look like VR.
I've got another story for you, and I just remembered there is another story that's like this that I need to show you. So we're going to power through this one. Okay. This is from Upload VR. Sense Glove Nova 2 adds palm pressure to the wireless force feedback VR gloves.
Hand jobs are about to get that much better.
Oh boy. Okay, so there's the picture.
That's not a real image.
No, that's real.
She's not holding that.
But
the thing that she's using to hold the ball with.
Oh yeah, that's it.
A ball, by the way, not balls. Just
a sphere. Yeah, it's a
sphere.
glowing sphere.
Yep.
No, that's real. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
People want haptic feedback of some kind.
Yeah.
And if I could hold onto a gun or a stick or whatever and it feel like it's there, if somebody could figure out how to do trigger, that would be wild.
Totally.
Okay. So the original Nova shipped in late 2021 at $5,000.
That's very expensive.
The Nova 2 increases that price to $6,000.
That is marginally more very expensive.
I would say that's 20% more expensive. That sounds like a lot, but that's actually cheaper than most other force feedback gloves. It has the aesthetic of the Power Glove.
It really does, which is fine. The Power Glove looked cool. It really did.
Like hockey gloves.
That's, again, that kind of looks cool to people that don't live in Canada, I suppose. But it's got the pulley things. It's got the pulley rings.
Yeah. So it's got strings that give you tension on your fingers. They're basically external tendons that
totally it creates resistance. As you're trying to move your finger forward, it's pulling it back, and then that simulates like a object that's stopping your finger, like a ball or like a wall or okay. So the trigger in that situation would already be implemented.
It would work, but for $6,000, I mean.
Oh no, yeah, totally.
Anyway, they've added palm pressure. I found a video, and I didn't write it down in my notes here, but I'm gonna find it. Okay, so I found it.
Okay.
Okay, so you can get gloves, okay, and that gives you haptic feedback. I was just going around the internet looking for different things, and I found this really good article on scaredghost.com.
Okay.
It's called The Ghost House, is the blog. And they have this really cool write-up on different peripherals you can get for VR. And I don't want to spoil all of them, but one of them is a vest that you can wear. So I don't know what the price of this device is, but I'm going to show you the promotional video and I'll get your reaction.
The build-up to this is enormous. And the weird inclusion of ghosts has me very curious.
It is now your turn to react.
The families hugging. Oh, okay. Mother-daughter hugging. Mother and a mannequin hugging? It's a vest. It's a lady wearing a Tron vest and she's hugging a mannequin with ropes on it. Oh my God, it hugs you back. Oh my, oh, it looks organic. Yeah, this is really related with all the tendon talk.
Yeah, it's basically this vest that goes around your whole body, and it's a bunch of tendons and pulleys and things, and it shows this lady hugging a mannequin without arms, and then the vest tensions around her back.
I'm suspicious that this might be a, like, you know how people are into getting eaten?
Okay.
And digested?
Yeah.
That's what that looks like to me. It's like a I'm being squeezed by intestines simulator. And they're like, well, we can't market that. So what? Hugs. How about hugs?
That's the CEO. Does he look like a guy that's into being tied up?
If you asked him that question and he pulled that face, I'm going to say yes.
Okay, all right, okay. So all of the listeners listening in. So basically, I've gone to motiondatalab.com and they have a device they're working on called Hugtics. Like analytics or like haptics?
Hugtics.
Haptics, but Hugtics. And so what they're saying is you put this vest on and you can feel like you're being hugged. But I love that, like, it kind of implies that the vest comes with just like, it's like the Tybo mannequin. It's armless and legless. It's just it's a torso and a head. It kind of implies that the vest has to be bought with the mannequin, so you have something to hug.
Yeah, that's right. Otherwise, like, what are you stuck hugging? I think it's important that they don't have a head or arms on this mannequin because at least you could substitute the mannequin with something that is kind of similar, like a fridge or like a big cutting board or like a pillow or like something.
Yeah.
But yeah, that makes me concerned if people can't get real hugs like that quickly, that they need to buy like an item that's that much.
Yes.
I guess it's like a long distance thing. You want to hug grandma, but she's like, you're on the moon and she's on Earth. You're like, oh no, I want to hug grandma.
That's a great question. Would the vest be able to give you different kinds of hugs? So you're like, oh, that feels like grandma's hug.
This feels like a real digestive hug that's been given to me by a huge monster. Oh no, grandma swallowed me.
All right, this is from mixednews.com, which is a newer mixed reality VR news website, and they wrote some pretty good articles. So if you haven't, obviously there's the big two, Upload VR and Road to VR, and I'm seeing more articles by Mixed News that are covering kind of things that aren't covered by the other two, so they're worth checking out.
Okay.
This is in-car startup Holoride files for insolvency. So basically, CEO and co-founder Nils Wolny announced on LinkedIn that Holoride has filed for insolvency. It was a startup company that allowed you to take an Uber or a taxi and you sit in the back and you put on a VR headset and you have like a VR experience while you're being taken to your place of choice.
Okay. Did they ever make anything out of this, or was this just like an idea that had money behind it?
Okay, so mixednews.com goes on to say, Holoride was founded in 2019 to bring VR entertainment into vehicles. The idea was to provide backseat passengers with VR experiences that dynamically adapt to car movements in real time. So I imagine like a roller coaster, maybe? I don't know.
That's what I thought of at first.
In November 2022, Holoride brought VR experiences to selected Audi models. And in January 2023, a retrofit package was released to make all cars Holoride compatible.
It wants to dynamically change the outside to look like a world.
I don't know.
What headset are they running with this thing? Have you ever tried to use a Quest in a car?
No,
or like
it's
a plane?
not great. No, these look more like, I can't see here.
I'm glad that at the end of that they had some kind of announcement of a hardware thing. Like they actually started implementing the idea, because it sounds like such a pie in the sky thing that somehow got money behind it. I don't know.
All right, I'm going to hit the buy now button. We're going to find out how much. Okay, here we go. You get, for €699, you get a portable Holoride retrofit device, a HTC Vive Flow, an 8-bit Do Pro 2 safety strap, 2 users, 3 months Holoride subscription. Oh, it's subscription-based.
Excellent.
And access to all experiences.
HTC Vive Flow, did you say?
Yeah, the Flow looks quite good because they're like closer to glasses than they are headsets.
I forgot about this thing. You know when in the Tim Burton remake of Willy Wonka where they're about to look at the TV moment and he puts on those ridiculous giant sunglasses?
Exactly
that's what these things look like, except they're gold.
That's exactly what they look like. All right, okay. Cinema is one of the experiences. I'll hit learn more. Oh, it's just them like watching Puss in Boots and stuff. So it's them, you watch movies and stuff.
It's the subject walking towards a car holding the headset / glasses, but he's holding them like next to his pocket in a way that like he's embarrassed that he's holding them.
But if you were in an Uber, I'm not putting on those glasses.
No, exactly.
I'm not putting on someone
when
else's
you see the like unopened bottle of water in the back of the Uber, you're still suspicious of what you're going to get in that.
But the little Mentos things in a packet?
Yeah, totally.
I'm
Never touch
smashing
them.
those. I'm smashing
also, how...
Whoa. You don't touch the little Mentos in a little packet?
I don't touch them, no.
What? What if it's the pink packs that are like fruity flavors?
If a random stranger is offering me sweeties in the back of a car, no, that's not what I'm doing. And I'm not putting on something that's going to blind me to him either.
Here's another one. This is like an 8-bit game. Like, I don't quite understand.
So you're playing a 2D game in a VR headset in the back of a car that's moving.
Yeah.
That sounds like a motion sickness problem.
Yeah. All right, okay. Fair enough. Axios.com has an article saying VR is powering the road trip game of the future. Are you allergic to VR news? What's going on?
I'm allergic to car-based, road trip-based VR, and this is 2 in a row.
Well, that's great and all. So VR is powering the road trip game of the future. This is by Joanne Muller. But then they go on to show mixed reality flat screen gaming. So this is it here. This is it. It's a car it's a game car overlaid onto a camera feed, and then they're collecting coins on the road.
That's cool.
It's cool.
I was cynical initially, and now I'm on board.
This is what it looks like inside. So it's 2 kids, and there's basically iPads on the back seats, and the 2 kids have a controller, and they're like playing with the camera feed.
How old are those 2 kids in the image?
I feel real uncomfortable telling you.
No. Please, can you look at the image and tell me the age of the children that are sitting in the back of that?
Oh, sorry. They're fully grown adults.
Elderly adults.
One of the ladies is like 55.
Yeah.
I just assumed it was kids because they're in the back
Angela
seat.
Merkel, like literally in one of the seats.
I'm so relieved because that was you asked it in a real weird way. So basically this is Valio Racer turned our demo car, a Volvo XC90, into a real-time participant in the video game using the world around us as a digital racetrack. Here's my thing, though. If I've got an iPad in front of me and a game controller, I'm probably just going to play a game.
Yeah, totally. You're not going to, play their game.
Yeah, but
you're going to play your game
using
that you've
a
already
camera
got.
feed of what's in front of me.
Yeah.
What if I'm stuck in bumper-to-bumper traffic?
Yeah, totally. What it reminds me of is when you're looking out the side of a car and you're a child and you imagine dude like jumping on all of the things that you're going past and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The video there that you've shown me is the front camera feed, which
version of that.
Yeah, totally.
If we could get a holo display on your side windscreen and then your kid could look at the windscreen and jump and stuff, that would be cool.
Yeah, totally. I'm not going to use it for $6,000.
No.
Right? Yeah.
But do you know what you could use for... Let me get the price up.
Right.
It's graphic. I could get $1.
Did you read out a price for that one?
This is a T-shirt. No, this was a demo.
Okay.
So this was in a Volvo, and they're offering it to other cars too if they want to get on board.
Okay.
If being in a car in mixed reality is just too much... Are you dying? Beardy's dying, everyone. Are you dying?
I hiccuped. But I was trying to keep my mouth closed. I'm sorry. Start again.
You're just getting really emotional.
It's the car stuff. Honestly, it was the VR hugs
We're
thing.
leaving from car. The hugs thing got to you.
Yeah, it really did. I need a hug, but I can't access one right now. So if only I had like an object that could hug me.
All right, okay. If cars are too much speed for you, how about an exercise bike with mixed reality involved? It'll only cost you $2,599. US, about $4,000 Australian.
That doesn't sound all that different to what a real exercise bike already costs, right?
Right. It's also not really mixed reality. What it is like most exercise bikes now, you get on the bike and then it has a big screen in front of you. But this is 3D videos in front of you, so it's got 3D-ness to the video.
Any peripherals required to see the 3D?
No.
So this is a big 3DS.
You just chuck it on. But at one point, I think it's a Unity map that they're showing. And I was like, oh, that doesn't look very good. But yeah, it's showing like 3D video, but it looks like it's a video game render, not actual stereoscopic images that they've captured themselves. Which makes sense, because if you ride faster, it would dynamically change because it's an Unreal scenario.
Stereoscopic 3D video looks like shit anyway.
Yeah.
And for this context, you want something that's a little bit more tailored to like the speed that you're pedaling and stuff like that. So yeah, like a 3D render would give you all of that.
I guess so. So anyway, the bikes are about, what I say, $2,500 US. This is a Kickstarter. There's 25 backers, 50 days to go. They needed $37,000 to, that was their goal, and they've raised $68,000.
Yeah, wow.
So
that's pretty impressive.
Met their goal.
Yep. When I got the Quest, one of the first things I contemplated and didn't do was, I could totally wear the headset at the gym, right? You know, like I could do that. But then you start thinking about stuff like sweat and like, you know, on cold nights, just wearing the headset makes it fog up for me.
Yes.
So like, if I can have a stereoscopic 3D image that I can look at that doesn't require a headset, I think that's a good idea just because I don't have to wear a headset.
Yeah.
So like if this technology can work in this context, maybe it'll come to something else that I'll actually use.
To a TV.
Well, yeah, totally. Like watching a 3D TV without the glasses.
I gotta say, and Apple Vision Pro has this and Quest doesn't. I want to watch 3D movies. I want to watch How to Train Your Dragon in 3D.
I'm glad that you want to do that.
Okay. But a lot of animated movies, like a lot of Pixar movies, genuinely look good in 3D.
You're right.
This might be slightly blasphemous, but the original 1990s Lion King, I really enjoyed in post 3D.
Oh, I didn't even know that they had a release like that.
It had a cinema release years ago.
Yeah, wow.
And I watched it and I was like, I actually like this. I would watch this again, but I can't.
The best 3D experiences I've had for film have been in the IMAX, where the image is so big that it takes up my entire field of view. And VR emulates that pretty effectively, I think. So, like, I can totally imagine watching a 3D movie and enjoying it.
This is from Gamer Rant.
Okay.
I never know if it's Game Rant or Gamer Ant.
Is it a big R? Are there any capitalizations that would give you hints?
It's all capitalized.
Okay.
Anyway, this is from Game Rant.
Okay.
But I originally saw it over on Reddit on r/virtual reality. Marvel's What If is getting a VR experience. Apple Vision Pro users can soon experience a Marvel's What If VR story. The immersive VR experience allows players to interact with the multiverse using the Vision Pro's spatial computing. Marvel's What If animated series inspired blah, blah, blah. Who cares about all that stuff? So they keep calling it an experience, our least favorite word in virtual reality.
Definitely.
I would rather if this was just a 3D episode.
Yeah, totally.
Or a game.
If you've got like two multi-million-dollar companies that are making a deal and they put experience in the title, you know to avoid that because you're paying $25 for fuck all as far as I'm concerned.
Hopefully it's free. Maybe that's
Here's
free.
hoping.
Here's a few screen caps. You can see one of the screenshots if you flick through. One of them is a mixed reality one where it's one of the characters from the MCU just standing in the living room of the person playing.
Yep.
But this is another Disney exclusive on the Apple Vision Pro. We were just talking about it. You can watch Disney movies in 3D on the Apple Vision Pro. You can't do that with the Quest 3. And this is another exclusive. This is not coming to Quest or anywhere else.
Interesting. Well, look, it seems like they're trying not to push this as a gaming device. You know, maybe Disney is along for that ride because they haven't had a lot of successful games recently. I don't know.
I think Disney just wants that prestige.
Yeah, I guess. It does seem as well like that's the kind of, like they're both the same demographic. It's like the Apple enthusiast dad and the Marvel enthusiast dad, I feel like are the same person every time I see them. So
well, I mean, Apple and Disney have a bit of a relationship going back to the early 90s when they created, when Steve Apple created Pixar that went on to do Toy Story and it was bought by Disney and that was a co-production back then. But I would like to see some of this stuff, even if it was on SteamVR.
Yeah.
Just open to people to use because like there's such a huge catalog of 3D content that it goes to cinemas and then is never seen ever again.
Yeah, and locking it to a particular platform, you know, I don't know. Between the exclusivity, the fact that it's this weird, like, it's not a game, it's not an application, it's an experience.
Yep.
It's like, do they know what they want to do with this? Like, what is this? What are you selling someone? You're selling the interaction with Marvel characters?
Yeah, kind of. It's like
It's an
experience.
I guess. So it feels so underconfident.
I am shocked, actually, that Apple didn't think of a new word.
Yeah, totally.
Like, spatial video is 3D video.
It is.
What's their word for VR? It's spatial computing. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
So I'm surprised
they're all in on this spatial shit.
Okay, I got a new term for you. I want to know if you know what this word is. So we have VR, which is...
virtual reality.
Right. MR?
Virtual... oh, shit. Mixed reality?
Okay. AR?
Alternate?
No. Augmented reality. Okay, mixed reality and augmented reality are kind of interchangeable these days. But they were two different things at one point. And then XR.
I don't know.
It's turning into the term for everything. Virtual reality, AR, MR. It's all XR.
I thought it was like a generic, it's generic VR rendering.
Well, there is XR rendering. Yeah, this
is different from that?
It's a changing term.
Okay.
Because language is fluid, you know.
Does it stand for anything?
So I got a new one for you.
Okay.
WebXR.
Okay. Like VR exclusive web browsing?
Kind of. Okay, so if you open up your Quest browser now, you have a bunch of experiences that are in the browser and you can click on them and play games. I've played a couple. They're basic wave shooters and stuff. But they're VR games that you just play in the browser. You click it, it loads for a minute, and then you go into virtual reality, and it's a very low, not resolution, but low poly game, basic games that you can play. These are all available on MetaQuest. I think 2 and 3 both support it. It's just you open up the browser, they're there, you can do it.
Okay.
Last year's WebXR Game of the Year, this is from Upload VR, adds support for the Apple Vision Pro.
Oh, so this is where they start to...
So this is kind of big because obviously, we were just talking about it, Apple Vision Pro doesn't really do games.
No.
There's like board chess games and stuff, but not really gamey games. But this will allow people to make WebXR games, which are VR games accessed by a web browser. And like you've just increased your market because now anyone with the Apple Vision Pro can also play these games.
I don't know why I want to ask this, but are these like Java games? Is this why they can run in a web browser and they're cross-compatible?
The same concept of that. Yeah, same concept.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if
Have you never noticed it when you open your browser? They're all there for you to...
No. Well, I don't open the Meta browser if I can help it.
Fair enough. No. You use your Quest mostly for PC VR.
That's right. So I've already got the browser on
there. I can show you one.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Oh, I finally did it, everyone. If you can't see me, but I'm doing the podcast with a VR headset on now.
It's crazy. I don't have to look at his eyes anymore.
Yeah, which is great. He hates making eye contact.
That's exactly right.
I have opened the web browser and I am passing Beardy the headset. And you can just click on one of these and you'll see it load for a minute or two. Not a minute or two, a few seconds.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, geez. Okay, don't knock anything over.
Do what I want to do, all right? Click here to enter VR. Join as a spectator. Multiplayer mode. Advanced mode. Movement. Challenge.
Okay. You're making this
How many
much
crystals
longer.
can you collect? Advanced. Hold thumbstick up and down before shooting to control.
This is not what I wanted. He's reading way too much.
Well, I'm Spider-Man, but I'm in a real small city.
Oh, you're doing the Spider-Man one. Yeah, the Spider-Man one's not very good.
I'm liking the sound effects. Boy. Well,
Okay,
look,
right. You got it.
Admittedly, if this is a browser game that I didn't have to install and it's just running off the headset, pretty good performance. And it's just running like it's a shit game, but at least it's a game.
Yeah? All right. Hand that back over. You've lost privileges.
Oh, wow.
Okay, we're back. Beardy just went into virtual reality from the web browser. There's a whole bunch of web XR stuff I want to talk to you about. I've seen a bunch of news stories, and I just haven't found the time to talk to you about them. So we'll get into that at another time. But basically, the game's on a server somewhere else, and it's sending it to you, and you're playing it.
That's cool. That's cool.
This is what I want with Xbox Live.
Yeah, totally, because you're already streaming games right now to play, but they're flat screen games. They're not VR games.
Yeah. So I want that. I want that for like
totally
AAA games.
Yep.
That won't happen for a long time.
Even indie games. I feel like you could stream something like Onward or Contractors like that.
Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. So WebXR is a really cool platform where you can play games in VR, but you don't have to install them. They're up on the internet.
Awesome.
And now that's coming to Apple Vision Pro. That will be a good thing for Apple Vision Pro because it will bring extra content that just is not available. Do you want some more Apple Vision Pro news?
Sure. Just give
more rumors about the Apple Vision Pro 2. Okay, so someone else has been like, I got rumors for you. They basically said the Apple Vision Pro 2, so it was $3,500, the first one. This person's like, it could come out 2025 and be between $1,500 and $2,500.
What's that in 2026 dollars?
You're right. That's super cheap in 2026.
Yeah, totally.
That'll be so cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, it's going to be a little bit cheaper because they're looking at changing their factory suppliers. They've got a new factory that's sending them samples now, and that's going to bring the price down a little bit. Anyway, there's a little rumor for you.
Yeah.
Cool. Last thing I think we want to talk about. We got two really, really small things to talk about, but I feel like you have something to do to talk about these things. Do you want to do Steam or Unity first? What do you want to do first?
Let's go Unity.
Okay, all right. Unity 6 preview has some updates for XR experiences. I'm reading this from XR today, but I think everybody's covered this story.
I even covered it on my other VR podcast that I'm keeping secret from you.
Much more successful VR podcast.
That's right. My energy is so much higher on that one.
Oh my golly. All right, okay, I'll just read this article real quick, but you know a little bit about this. Well, I guess you don't, but you
I don't know about this part. I haven't even read this press release, so I don't even know.
Unity 6 preview is now available and includes new XR features like mixed hand and eye input and enhanced visual fidelity. The game and interactive experience creation engine Unity 6 reportedly supports most XR platforms such as ARKit, AR Core, and MetaQuest Vision OS. Windows Mixed Reality, PlayStation VR, and more. Unity 6 was first announced in 2023. Blah, 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 blah. Unity 6 has made major improvements to its XR Toolkit 3.0. According to Unity, more platforms are now supporting the use of hands to interact with content.
Cool.
Its XR Hands package allows you to incorporate custom hand gestures. Includes thumbs up, thumbs down, pointing, plus common open XR hand gestures. There's a bunch more we could go into, plus the more general Unity 6 stuff. But you were just saying you're working on a project and it's just shifted to Unity 6.
That's right.
Obviously, developers' relationship with Unity is a very complicated one.
That's fine. I think when they announced Unity 6 as well, that was when the whole debacle with the licensing fees for the engine were announced. And yeah, outside of that, beefing up their VR interaction kit, I think is a really good direction. It kind of like brings more interaction assets that give you like all the generic tools like gun interactions or like steering wheel interactions, like learning how to pick things up and whatnot. Every time one of these upgrades comes out, a bunch of assets that give you the tools to interact with objects in a VR game, they come out. So like I use one called the Virtual Reality Interaction Framework, VRIF. And that uses all of the code that was given in the last Unity release of this kind of technology.
Right.
And so, like, you'll have a new asset maybe in like 2 months that will have exactly the keyboard asset that you're talking about, or it's going to have that near fast shit and it's going to be integrated. So, like, every time an upgrade happens on the Unity end of things, all the kind of like asset creators for their store, they get to turn this into usable code for developers. And so that means better indie VR games. So I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, and there are a lot of games built in Unity in VR.
Totally. I think I want to know the percentage of the titles on the Meta Labs, Quest Labs, Horizon Labs store, the App Lab store. I want to know how many of those are Unity because I feel like it would be like 90%.
Yeah, because Unity has a lot of assets available for you to quickly make a VR.
That's right. They do have them on the Unreal Engine as well. I just, like last time I looked, that there were fewer of them. That was my experience with it. So, yeah, this is great.
Cool. Also, SteamVR's had an update. There's a whole bunch of things as far as SteamVR on the SteamVR side.
Yep.
But they've also updated their Steam Link in versions 2.5 of SteamVR. They've made a bunch of improvements to Steam Link.
Lots of fatal problems by the sounds of it.
Yeah, they've just fixed a whole bunch of things with the Steam Link, and I thought we'd leave this to last because you and I use SteamVR quite a lot, whether that's with AirLink, QuestLink, or with this particular app, the Steam Link.
Yes.
And you've been swearing by the Steam Link lately. You see
a
lot of benefit.
I do. I use SteamVR for all of my PC VR games. So whether I'm using the Link cable or the Steam Link app on the Quest, I'm running SteamVR for those games. So I can either change the controls around or I can use advanced settings. SteamVR advanced settings gives you stuff like offsets that you can make yourself taller or shorter depending on the game and whatnot. And so,
or your personal self-belief. If you've got a low self-esteem,
exactly,
I want to be 1 foot taller.
Exactly. It really helps with all the virtual Tinder dating, I guess. Steam Link, when you're using it, has like a digital foveated rendering thing. It makes all the periphery blurry and it makes the sweet spot in the middle very clear, so it's rendering that at 100% of the resolution that you desire, and you can make that sweet spot bigger or smaller depending on how performant your PC is or how fast your network is. I find that Steam gives you extra control and customization over the app, like in a lot of contexts. So like that process that you just talked about, you wouldn't find that on the AirLink. And if you could, you would be probably going into developer mode if you wanted to change it or something like that. Steam Link gives it to you just in the settings. So like that philosophy, I think, is super important for VR right now, because at least if you have a shitty setup, you can fix it.
Yeah,
and so that's why I think the Steam Link's a good app.
MetaQuest is great because it just works, and SteamVR is great because it allows you to go into the nitty-gritty.
Yes. Yeah, it's like utility versus
modularity.
Yeah, I don't know, like ease of use or whatever the fuck. Yeah. So no, it's good. It's great.
But you've also found that you're getting slightly better performance on using Steam Link over just using QuestLink.
It's honestly, it's barely noticeable, but to me, I feel like it runs better than AirLink does.
Yeah.
I'm quicker to go to that.
I would just say, if you haven't tried it yet, just give it a go.
Yeah.
Especially if you're playing a Steam game, you're not there to do web browsing or whatever on your desktop or whatever. Mm-hmm. Just give it a crack.
How about this, right?
Okay.
First world problem.
All right.
You're in a different room to where your PC is, and you're playing a PC VR game over AirLink.
Good lord.
Yes. You don't want to get up again, but there's something that really requires you to get up again, like I have to enter the password on this application on the PC or something like that, and I just don't have access to that through the headset, or God forbid, AirLink doesn't connect. If you have Steam Link installed and you really don't want to get out of bed or don't want to get off your chair, you can go into Steam Link and then fix those settings on your PC,
right,
and then have AirLink connect. So it's like if one's not connecting, the other one might connect.
Okay.
So
like having a backup plan.
Exactly. Having multiple like AirLink apps, I think, is just helpful for just that first world problem.
Yeah, for sure. All right, okay. That's Steam Link, and it's a little bit better now. That's all of my news.
Wow.
Do you have any news?
I don't think I've got much news this week. I thought we were just going to talk about a game or something like that.
Nah. We had so much news, even though it's a slow news week.
All right.
Are you playing anything at the minute in VR?
I'm still playing Rumble. I don't think I've talked about Rumble properly, but it's earthbending in VR. Yeah,
I want to do a proper talk about Rumble maybe another time.
The only reason why I mention it right now is because you talked about the XR upgrade for Unity 6 was bringing hand gestures to the platform.
Oh, great point.
Yeah. Rumble is a game I think that could be played entirely using the hand gestures, like hand tracking. Yeah. It does not really need the controller.
But the last couple of weeks I've been seeing a lot of like Reddit posts and just general discussion online about how to get hand tracking in SteamVR.
Yep.
It's relatively simple to do. It's not obvious, but you can get hand tracking.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, right. One of the best things about SteamVR is that you can go into the input settings and you can swap inputs around.
Yes.
I'm wondering if I can just put hand tracking emulation into Rumble by assigning hand gestures in SteamVR to actual button presses or gestures in
so closed fist is grip.
Exactly. So
that wouldn't be next level.
That would be fucking cool. The only issue is that I wouldn't have thumbstick movement.
No.
So rotation and like
Make it voice activated. So you're like forward, jump,
backward,
turn.
No, other turn. Yeah, that's great.
So anyway, a lot of people have been experimenting with getting hand tracking from the Quest 3 mostly, but also Quest 2 working with SteamVR.
Yep.
So yeah,
Awesome.
Kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. All right. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I don't think so. I think that we're all done.
All right, sick. All right, well, if you have any questions, please email us at
GamesVRealityPod@gmail.com.
We did it, yeah. We're also going to be starting to post up on our Instagram and TikTok. That's GamesVRealityPod as well. And Twitter wouldn't let us have GamesVRealityPod because that's too many letters.
Oh, okay.
So it's just GamesVReality there on X, but I'll post updates and stuff there too.
Nice.
Please email us and give us some feedback.
Tell us when we're wrong.
Yeah, the dog's upset that the podcast is ending, but we've run out of things to talk about. Sorry, Ubi.
Sorry, Ubi.
Cool. Yeah, please give us some feedback. We'd like to hear some feedback. But yeah, GamesVRealityPod@gmail.com.
Woo.
All right. Do we have an outro?
No, we don't.